Well, Jeremy, George Best was quite literally the boy from the back streets who made it to the big time. He grew up, as you say, on the Craiga estate in the heart of Protestant East Belfast, literally within the shadow of the landmark Harlander Wolff shipyard cranes. His father Dickie worked in the shipyard, and I think it's worth noting that his father still lives in that modest mid-terrace house from which George set out for Manchester United back in 1962. He practiced his footballing by kicking a tennis ball against the gable walls of houses in that area, so there are a great deal of memories for people around there today. But of course, it is here at Windsor Park that most of the memories exist, for many people would describe George Best as the most talented footballer ever to don the Northern Ireland football shirt.
I suppose he's one great regret, and Northern Ireland's great regret is that he never managed to go to a World Cup with Northern Ireland and to strut his stuff on the biggest stage in world football.
Indeed, so many people here often talk about the lost promise that was George Best. He was capped only 37 times for the international side, but my goodness, Jeremy, did those 37 matches provide some magical memories, like that infamously disallowed goal against Gordon Banks here at Windsor Park in 1971. Those are the sort of memories that are being shared by older supporters in Northern Ireland today, but the younger fans too have very specific memories of George Best. I was speaking to one of them this morning, and he told me that one of his memories of George Best was from Pat Jennings' testimonial game here some 20 years ago, when the reception for George Best somewhat overshadowed the reception for Pat Jennings. The person I spoke to described it as a goosebumps moment, and he said that he felt like he'd lost a very close member of his family. That's the sort of esteem in which George Best was held here on the streets of Belfast and here in the stadium that is Windsor Park. I think I should point out also, Jeremy, that Northern Ireland is soon to get a new sporting stadium, and there has been a great deal of debate about what that stadium will be called. Many people are suggesting it should be the George Best Stadium. So whatever way Manchester chooses to remember him, that could well turn out to be Belfast or Northern Ireland's lasting tribute to that boy from the back streets who made it to the big time, albeit for such a short time.
David, also, Belfast will also be wondering what will happen to George Best himself. No doubt the family will want to honour him and lay him to rest back in his home city.
There has been a great deal of talk about that today, Jeremy. The Bests are notoriously private people. As I said a moment ago, Dickie Best himself still lives in the very same house from which George set out for Manchester United all those years ago. And we are told by people close to him that he has always believed that George, when the time came, should be laid to rest alongside his mother, Anne, who died prematurely also at the age of 58 back in 1978. George often talked about her having suffered from the same disease that he suffered from, alcoholism. Now, she is buried at the Roselawn Cemetery here in Belfast, but given how private the family have been in the past and again have been today in expressing their desire to be left to grieve in peace, it's difficult to see how that balance can be made between the desire of so many people to pay their respects to such a footballing legend and the desire of that family for such privacy at this time.
David, thanks very much indeed. David Blevins at Windsor Park, the home of Northern Ireland football in Belfast. And